Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday Tea Time for St Andrews Golf Magazine, and a Happy New Year to all of our readers and viewers this evening. This evening I'm joined by Les Bailey of Pro Golf Now, and hopefully later in the programme we'll be joined by John Boyne and Elizabeth Bethel, who's also of Pro Golf Now. This week we'll be previewing the year ahead. Our theme for this year is 2015, a grand year, which is based on the chance that Rory and Phil have the chance for the Grand Slam and the Masters and the US Open. We'll be looking at that to start off with, as well as the Open returning to St Andrews this July, and Tiger Woods coming back from injury, his first event, hopefully in a few weeks' time. And then we'll also be looking at the LPGA. It's probably an impossible task to better last season for them, but we'll look at the season ahead with a couple of new tournaments and a new major championship as well. And we'll wrap up the show by looking at the PGA Tour and the European Tour. They're changing schedules, they're changing points formats, and they're rising stars that may make a splash this year. But first of all, this April, Rory McIlroy will have the chance to become just the sixth player to complete the career Grand Slam at the Masters. He starts his season at the Abu Dhabi HSBC Golf Championship in next week, in fact. I suppose the first question is, would you think that Rory's going to be the favourite, certainly, to do that at Augusta, Les?
Well, you certainly have to put him up at the top of the list. I'd kind of like to see how he starts off in Abu Dhabi next week, see how his game is going. Rory tends to tank sometimes when he just isn't playing well.
Yeah.
He's not the fighter Tiger is. He'll just keep fighting back until he's doing something right, you know. I was a little disappointed. Well, not disappointed. He never plays in the Hyundai Tournament of Champions. Him and Adam Scott have bailed out this year, but that was my question. I wasn't sure if he was going to start in Abu Dhabi or if he was going to start in Dubai, but I know he's not playing in the South African Open this week.
No, he starts at Abu Dhabi, and it's a tournament which he said that he's desperate to win. 10th anniversary of that tournament, and he's had a number of close calls. The last 2 years he's missed out because of stupid rules infringements on Thursday and Friday. First of all was wiping sand away from in front of his ball when he was off the green, and then second last year when he didn't take full relief from a hazard. Both those violations cost him the tournament both times. So he's desperate to win there. I think he'll be playing in Dubai a couple of weeks later, and then focusing on Florida and the PGA Tour. So that'll be his split.
Yeah, he usually doesn't get on the PGA Tour until they get to Florida. So it wasn't like I expected him to play it. Because that's a pretty good plane ride from Hawaii over to Abu Dhabi. So.
It certainly is, isn't it? So,
that's just a nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about later about the Tournament of Champions and how it's really lost its meaning, I think, in the game, really. But Rory obviously hasn't played for quite a considerable time now. He played the Australian Open the last week of November, first week of December.
Well, that's kind of why. That's really why I want to see him play in Abu Dhabi before I really make a commitment on the Masters. He certainly has the game to win the Masters. It's just a matter of time of when he does it.
Yeah, and I think the pressure. I've read several articles on the Golf Channel and Golf.com, and I think it was Golf Week as well. Some people saying yes, he'll do it, but he won't do it this year. But it's the unpredictable, isn't it? And you just don't know if he gets off to that good start Thursday, Friday. He's in and around the lead. You'd certainly be foolish to back against him if he was in that position.
Oh, absolutely. If he's around the leaderboard, on the weekend on moving day, you definitely have to put him up there in the top. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So also this year, Phil Mickelson has a chance to complete the career Grand Slam, as he did at Pinehurst last year. Possibly this year at Chambers Bay, the attention won't be on him as much, especially if Rory has won the Masters, because he'll be going for 4 in a row. And we could have the most unbelievable US Open. Rory's going for 4 in a row. You've got Phil Mickelson going for the career Grand Slam. You've got Tiger trying to win a first major in 7 years.
Stinson trying to win a first major period.
Yeah.
You know?
The US Open really could be some tournament. And Chambers,
especially on a golf course that nobody really has a lot of experience with. You know, it's not like they play there every 4 or 5 years. You know.
No, and it's a totally new golf course. It's going to have. I saw a film on it the other day, and the fairways are a lot wider, deliberately so. But obviously, you have to hit the right part of the fairway to access the very tricked up greens. So it looks absolutely amazing, Chambers Bay. The US Amateur was there a few years ago. So we'll see. I mean, it could be absolutely phenomenal week if everything goes right.
Oh yeah.
So
I think you guys are making a huge mistake. You need to keep Jordan Spieth and Patrick Reed up on the table. One of them is going to come along and snatch that away from Rory and Lefty.
Well, I think you're right. there's a huge possibility.
Yes, there is. We get focused on those two. Yes, Ricky is going to come along too, maybe. I mean, he's gotten a haircut. He's grown up a little bit. But I'd put my money on Jordan Spieth.
Yeah, I would too. I like the way Jordan Spieth is playing. I took Patrick Reed this week on my fantasy picks to win it in Hawaii, but Patrick Reed definitely shows up in big tournaments, you know.
Well, he certainly does. I mean, he won the WGC at Doral last year. He played well in the Ryder Cup. But he doesn't really have much of a major resume to go by.
No, well, he's only 24 years old too, though. You know, so there's not many 24-year-olds that have a big resume, you know.
No. I don't know.
I was impressed with him that he went and played in the Volvo Championship. I know he's a big guy on the match play, but to go over and compete in the Volvo Championship kind of told me that he's ready to compete on a world stage. He wants to, yeah.
So, but it should be. I mean, I can't wait for the Masters because it's not just the fact that he's got that check, but it's the first major of the year, and hopefully sunny conditions and spring and everything like that to get us out of this dark winter here in St Andrews. You know, so it should be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, let's not forget that Jordan Spieth, had he not screwed up the 8th and 9th hole on Sunday, may have well had a chance to win last year.
Yeah,
very much so, very much so. And there are other players that are in that mix for the majors this year, which we'll talk about soon. But Bubba Watson, the defending champion, he's had such a great year last year and was overshadowed very much so by other people. But he had an absolutely fantastic year.
And he finished up well at the HSBC there by winning that. I mean, yeah. He made a shot that a lot of people put up there in the category of being one of the better shots they've seen all year.
Oh, without doubt, absolutely without doubt. He made 2 shots that were absolutely fantastic, you know. And at the Masters, you know, the drive over the trees at 13, and you know, he's definitely got the skills to win on any golf course, I think. So, but a golf course that may favour him, I think, if there's no wind, is the old course at St Andrews, and the Open returns here for the first time in 5 years. Louis Oosthuizen won in 2010. Tiger Woods won the previous 2. John Daly in '95, and it's the 25th anniversary of Nick Faldo's win here at the Open.
Yeah, and you know, the fact that Bubba can't has trouble hitting a straight shot. I mean, he works the ball every shot. That's kind of the determination if he likes the golf course rounds, if he can have a room to work the ball, and he should at St. Andrews. They don't have any trees at St. Andrews, do they? Or
well, they do, but it's not on the golf course.
They're just on the golf course.
So I think it's a good time to introduce the man that knows the old course better than any of us, and that's John Boyne. Happy New Year, John. You must be looking forward to an amazing year out on the old course this year.
Yes, I am. It should be absolutely fantastic. And there are no trees. I've taken most of them out over the last 7 or 8 years. The 3 trees that we did have all gone.
Didn't they ship one of them over to Augusta to replace the Eisenhower tree, or? So now they only have 2, right? Am I the only one not being able to hear what John has to say?
No, I can't hear him either.
Well, I can hear him.
Oh no.
Maybe the ocean.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe that or a Scott filter on my my computer or something like that.
Press one of these buttons. See what happens. See how that goes. Well, we'll see.
Can you hear him?
How's it going?
No, not a bit. Not a word.
What I might do is unplug this and see.
We can laugh at him.
Well, it's a new year, but it's the same technology problems for all of us.
Yeah.
Well, that was me and the whole try and get into the modern world with a new phone. Can you still hear me, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, maybe I can translate for you.
I'll speak.
Can he hear us?
It should all be right across the board. I'll sign out and come back in, Matt. You go on with something else.
Okay. Well, obviously the Open returning here is a big thing for everybody here. In St Andrews, and the town is certainly readying for the Open in July. We've done a number of big interviews. I won't list them all, but we've got Nick Faldo and Louis Oosthuizen, certainly, and also Rory, incidentally. Looking forward to the Open and how they played the Open course, and Faldo probably his last ever Open at the old course. So we're counting down to the Open in a different fashion. We've also got plenty of features on. Last month we had J.H. Taylor and his double at the old course, and we're also profiling a number of local golfers on their road to the Open Championship this summer, and how they're going to get on with qualifying and where they're going to play and their golfing story, if you like. And a question I suppose I have for American fans of golf is, the Open being at St Andrews, would you say it should be here every year? Because like the Masters or Augusta, I assume that's your alarm, Les.
No, that was something about the Cowboys.
So yeah, would you say it should be here every year, like Augusta has the Masters?
Well, I enjoy seeing the other courses as well. I mean, St Andrews has produced some drama in the past, but so has Carnoustie, and so has Queensbarn, and quite a few other places have given us some good tournaments.
Yeah, very much so, and I'm certainly in that camp where I would say that the Open should move around, and we've got some great golf courses in England and Scotland, and Northern Ireland in a few years' time with Royal Portrush. So I think it is, and it makes it more special, the fact that it only comes here every 5 years.
Right.
It's the Open that everybody wants to play in, because they only get that one or maybe two opportunities in their whole career to actually come and play it in an Open. So, and do you think the course is still relevant for the modern game? They've had to make quite a few changes to keep it competitive.
Well, I had often thought that if they had a tournament like the Players at St. Andrews every year, would be nice, but just not the Open Championship. And I think the Open Championship should stay moving around like it does on the Rota.
Well, I suppose we have the Dunhill, which is a big tournament. It's a $5 million purse. So, but it isn't played predominantly on the old course. You have Carnoustie, you have Kings Miles as well, and you have a number of celebrities, which I'm not a big fan of, I have to say. I think that it would be better if the celebrities were cut out after 3 rounds, and then you had that final round just for the pros. But it's a special week in itself, and that will come up in late September following the Open. And I suppose, John, if you can hear me, what would you sum up the feeling amongst the caddies for this year for the Open? I can't hear you either.
I can't hear him.
Nope. We might be missing something good.
Well, I think we will. But
yeah, we're missing John now. He's gone.
He has gone.
Oh my God.
I suppose then, if we're talking about the old course and we're talking about the Open, Tiger Woods comes to mind pretty quickly, and this year he's coming back after a lengthy spell off with injury, recovering from that back injury. New swing, new coach. We obviously saw him at the Hero World Challenge just before Christmas. What are our feelings going into the Farmers Insurance Open, which will be likely his first start of the year? And do we think he's going to have a good year, and will he win a tournament? Will he win a major?
Well, I'm anxious to see him at. I think the short game problems we saw at Isleworth will probably be gone by then.
Yeah.
If his health holds up, you never can tell. There's about 4 golf courses or 5 that he actually owns. So anytime he tees it up at the Memorial or places like that, you got to say, well, he's got a chance to win. Can he win at Augusta? I don't know. He was doing pretty good 2 years ago when he made that stupid shot. It was a great shot, actually. It was a stupid drop he took. So yeah, I think Tiger. Can he win 5 majors? I don't think so. Can he win a couple more? I think he probably can if he gets his game together. He sort of knows how to do it.
Yeah. So,
has anybody actually seen Tiger play? Has anybody seen him perform recently?
Well, we watched the Hero Challenge, and he hit the ball well. He hit the ball better than we've seen him hit it in a long time. He actually kept a lot of drives in the fairway with his driver, but he just gave away so many strokes on 4 or 5 of those holes where he just couldn't hit a chip shot that it's hard to tell what he would have scored if he hadn't, if he'd had his short game together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Tiger isn't nearly the putter he was when he was younger either. So, but that's something he can work on and get better at again. It's,
that can help him at St Andrews. It's not that. It's the St Andrews greens that are slow.
And the real trick to people making a lot of putts is hitting their iron close to the hole where they don't have to make a 25 or 30 foot putt every time. If you're putting within 10, 12 feet every time, you've got a better chance of making birdie than you have from 60 feet. So as his iron play starts to get better again, his putting game will get better, in my opinion.
Well, I certainly think that if he can get that short game certainly anywhere near to what it was, he could have a very good year. The pressure's off him to a certain extent from a golfing standpoint. He's always going to have the focus, but people's expectations aren't quite as high as they were 5 years ago.
Well, I got the feeling and listened to him in his press conferences that maybe he's going to start playing a little bit more golf this year than he has in the past. Just sniping off the tournaments he knows he got a shot to win instead of. I'm not ruling out seeing him at the Sony. You know, somebody asked him about going to Hawaii. He said, "Well, I'm not qualified to play at Kapalua, but you know, you never can tell about the other one." He was talking about the Sony Open. You know.
Yeah, and that would be a good. I can't ever recall him playing in that tournament.
Yeah, he played. In fact, I think he won it one time. I'd have to go back and look, but it's like Kapalua. You know, he played there back in '97 or '98. And well, he did. They didn't start playing Hawaii until '99, so it had to be.
He won it in 2000, didn't he?
2000, his big year. Yeah.
So no, I'd love to see him add some events, and I'd love to see him play. I don't think he'll play in Dubai or any European Tour event until he may play the Scottish Open. You never know. He doesn't usually play the week before a major, but I think he needs to play more, and I think Gullen would help him in his preparation. And then you've got the end of season events as well, so which he'd be eligible for through his world ranking. And so I think.
Absolutely.
He would do well to play 20, 25 events this year, actually. I think it's about time that he played more, get a consistent run, and then, if not this year, certainly 2016, an Olympic year, his goal must be to be playing in the Olympic Games for the United States, his one and only opportunity, probably.
And the Ryder Cup.
And the Ryder Cup. And we'll talk about the Ryder Cup task force later. In a year.
Oh my God!
But I saw some outrageous rumours that he might be the captain.
I really think Fred Couples will be the next captain, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. So we'll leave the Ryder Cup where it is.
Yeah.
So we move on now to the LPGA, and last year was without doubt it was a tour of the entire world. Strength in depth, great winners every week. Every field was amazing. Incredible finish to the year. You had Michelle Wie win a major, Lexi Thompson win a major, Inbee Park win a major, and Lydia Ko walking away with the money at the end of the year.
Isn't that amazing?
You have Pinehurst and the back-to-back US Opens. Can it get better? Well, maybe it can, because you've got a new women's major this year replacing the LPGA, the KPMG Women's PGA at Westchester. You've got a new title for the Kraft Amisco, the ANA Inspiration. I don't know what your thoughts on that is, Elizabeth. It seems to just come out of nowhere, really. But and then the Solheim Cup in September. So it's going to be another amazing year, and it starts a week earlier this year as well.
And on American soil this year.
It does, yeah. And I think this season has every chance of being better than last year, which would be amazing for women's golf.
Well, it depends, doesn't it? It depends on, there's so many questions. Will Lydia Ko actually dominate the tour this year? The long-term answer is, of course she will. But what's the short-term answer? I don't think that, I'll go out on a limb, I don't think she has the maturity yet to impose the kind of across-the-board domination that Annika did, or that Yanni Singh did, or that Inbee Park did. I think she's close, but she needs a little more seasoning and experience. And I say that based on watching her perform over the course of a tournament, starting strong, ending weak repeatedly. I mean, yes, she won 3 times. Yes, she walked away with the money at the end of the season. And yet I watched repeatedly where on Sunday she just didn't seem to have control of her game. She was having trouble closing the deal on Sunday. And I think that's because she's young and she's inexperienced, and she may have an absolutely stunning, better than anybody in the world technical game, but there's another part of that, the mental endurance and the mental stamina, that I think can be developed and will be developed over time. So I'm not, Les poked at me a little bit on my Pro Golf Now post and said, don't you think Lydia Ko's going to get better? Well, of course she is. But I think we need to give her some growing room and not ask or expect so much of her all at once. And at the same time, Lydia Ko is going to face some serious competition, not just Stacy Lewis. Stacy, yes, because Stacy's fierce, and she's got that mental game that's been developed over time. But Michelle Wie's coming along, and she wants it real badly. Her mental game is also very tough. And who knows who else is going to come on. If last year is an example of what could happen, we could see everything turn over one more time this year. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be real exciting.
Is Suzanne Pedersen healthy yet?
I think that Suzanne missed her moment at the end of 2013, and I'm thinking that she's just kind of hanging in there until after the Olympics, and then she's done.
Really?
That's what I think about Suzanne. Yeah.
Well, what about 2015 though?
Well, I think she'll just play along. She's good. She's just going to come along and play, but no, I don't think she's going to dominate. I think she lost she lost what you last called the fire in the belly.
Well, sometimes, injuries cause that. I mean, she's had back problems just like Tiger has, And how old is she now? She's getting a little long in the tooth, and those injuries get harder to overcome, when you get older.
Long in the tooth is just awful. I hate that phrase. She's in her 30s.
Yeah. Right.
So we have a new major this year, well, a new old major, if you like, the Women's PGA Championship. Incredibly exciting plans around that, and there's with 4 women in leadership sort of conference, if you like, and encouraging women to become leaders. And it's not really connected with golf in much respect, but it should be a major event. It's going to tour some of the big cities of America, so it should be more aligned with the PGA Championship on the men's tour.
Yeah, but let's talk for a minute, Matt, about it. That statement, it's not really connected to golf. I mean, one of the themes inside the LPGA is to teach women how to use golf, and I'm talking about recreational golf, not competitive golf, but inside the LPGA, that seems to be a kind of a parallel track, teaching women to use golf as a way to strengthen their competitive edge in the non-golfing marketplace. They've got this big program, this big national program, golf clinic program for women, and inside that program, they're constantly shaping their promotional pitch in terms of what golf can do to strengthen women's performance outside golf, outside athletics. And so in a lot of ways, this training women to be leaders conference that's nested inside the Women's PGA Championship makes a lot of sense to me. They're just playing that theme out. And speaking as a woman, I think that's very useful. I think women do need some some encouragement, and we're better than the competitive athletics arena to provide a role model for women to be aggressive and assertive and make clear their own personal goals, their professional goals, and learn how to negotiate those things.
Sure, I think it's a unique idea, and I think it certainly will add to the event, and it does highlight women in all sorts of fields, which is great.
In other words, they're making golf political.
Yes, they are. The Solheim Cup this year is in Germany, at San Leon Rott, which was a golf course which I do believe Tiger won on about 13 years ago. And that should be great for women's golf across the whole of Europe. It's a Central European country, so people from all over Europe will be able to come and see it, and I think it's going to be another very competitive match as the Europeans hopefully will give it their best to defend the trophy, although the Americans are looking extremely strong at this stage.
I think the Americans are drinking blood in the afternoon right now, getting ready.
Well, that raw eggs, huh?
Raw eggs.
Milk
I don't know.
Carry on.
The Solheim Cup is the one LPGA event that's on my calendar this month to watch, because I mean, I'll probably watch some more of them, but that one for sure ought to be a good one.
Yeah, it'll be exciting.
It will be exciting, but I think the whole tour is exciting now, and because you have 7 or 8 players who can win multiple tournaments a year, and so I think it's all exciting, and that's where I think the women's game is actually better than the men's game, because there are some tournaments, like this week on the PGA Tour, that I really couldn't. I just don't get excited by the Hyundai Tournament of Champions anymore, because it isn't the Tournament of Champions, because not all of the players play, and it's too early in the year, and I personally believe that Kapalua has been a great golf course for the last 15 years, but I think now they need to move it away from there.
Push it to bed.
Yeah.
Move it away from what?
From Kapalua.
Where would you play it?
Don't play it.
Well, I think John has a good point, because you've got the HSBC Champions, which is in China. It's a WGC, so it's already it's elevated above the Tournament of Champions. You've got the players who won on all the tours around the world. It's a meaningful tournament. It's not Hawaii is a great place, but it has that feel of like a lazy sort of pre-season sort of competition. Players are really getting ready for the Northern Trust Open, Farmers Insurance, Florida, and then into the main part of the season. So I don't think that this tournament now has the prestige that it had, certainly when Tiger won all those years ago in 2000 against Ernie Els, a battle like that. I mean, Bubba Watson's the leading ranked player in the field. He's number 4, and he's the only major winner in the field from last year. And I just think that it's too early in the year. Also, from my point of view and from our point of view here in Europe, because it's in Hawaii, they're playing it so quite late from a television point of view. It's got a Monday finish, you know.
Let me just say this though, just in all honesty, you know, the other alternative is the African Open, which, you know, there's no major championships in it. Well, maybe Charles Schwartzel and Ernie will be playing.
Well, the South African Open's the second oldest golf tournament in the world.
Yeah, but it has about as much significance and viewer possibilities as the Tournament of Champions does. I mean, it's a place for them to go.
Why not all the players that are playing in Hawaii getting paid a gazillion dollars for playing 4 rounds, no cut, actually go and play the South African Open? You know, with Ernie Els, with Schwartzel.
But why?
You know,
why?
For history, for the tradition of the game.
Let the season get started. Let them go get their sea legs back, and let them go remember how to hit the fairway, you know, with their driver.
Doesn't Ernie Els live in Florida? Schwartzel live in Florida. So they've made the journey. They would have spent Christmas maybe in South Africa, maybe not. You know, in the Middle East, that isn't. You know, most of the field are playing in the Middle East, and they're living in Florida.
See, the thing that I disagree with you on, Matt, is not every tournament has to have historical significance. And sometimes tournaments are just about getting out and playing golf and making a lot of money. You know, no matter where it's at. I mean, who would rather go? Have you ever been to Hawaii?
No, I don't fly, so it's a very long bus journey.
I have.
Oh my heavens, Matt!
It is without doubt the most perfect place on earth. So why wouldn't you want to go over there and play for a $5.7 million purse and a $1.4 million winner share in a no-cut tournament? I mean, why not? It doesn't have to have significant importance. It's just a nice golf tournament. It is not as nice as it used to be, but what the hell? It's the start of the season.
Do you not think that this is where golf is going wrong? I think you look at the start of the NBA season, the NFL season, everybody is focused on that. It's a great week. The start of the football season here in Europe, it's the start. It's the big start that gets everybody going.
But doesn't the football teams all play preseason games to get warmed up and get started and get back into working again? And
yeah, but not for $5.5 million.
Wait a minute. Is it the money that's bothering you, Matt?
I think it is.
I just think that it's a tournament I'm not interested in. You know, so but yeah,
it's all come down to money, you know. Scratch. So Johnny Manziel does. Hey, show me the money.
But anyway, the European Tour and PGA Tour kick off this year, this week, and we get going into the season. The PGA Tour really gets going with the Farmers Insurance Open in a couple of weeks' time, the Phoenix Open, the Northern Trust, and then into the Florida Swing. The European Tour really gets going next week with the Abu Dhabi and then Qatar, Dubai, and then we've got a few new tournaments in Asia as well. And this year, I suppose, both tours have changed their schedule slightly, and they've changed their point structures as well. It will be points on the European Tour throughout the entire season, but it is €1 to 1 point, so it's not going to make any difference at all because it's the same. But the PGA Tour, they did make a change to their points distribution, I think, Les.
Go ahead.
For the FedEx Cup, they changed the points in some way, didn't they?
Well, I think the big change came from down toward the end of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Last year, you know, they added all of those wraparound tournaments as being FedEx Point tournaments, which got Jimmy Walker into the Ryder Cup and into prominence last year. But I think the big change, and I can't remember the details, but there's a little bit of a change in the way that they distribute the points in the playoff events. You know, it starts at the Deutsche Bank, but I could be wrong.
I think actually the points are less than they were in the first three. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, they didn't want somebody winning one tournament and being in the catbird seat, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that it will stop that. If you win a couple, you're sure you're going to move up a long way. But if you win one, you won't instantly go from 100th position to top 5.
Right.
So I think that's a good move because it does reward consistency. It rewards somebody who plays well on a more regular basis and in the big events. But both tours have a number of rising stars this year to look out for. I suppose there are 3 which you've already named: Spieth, Reed, and Fowler. They're certainly on the cusp of something great. On the European Tour, Brooks Koepka's now on the PGA Tour as well.
Yes.
But I do think he will play a two-tour schedule throughout the year. I think he'll be playing the Middle East, and I think he'll be playing Wentworth and events like that, and then the final series at the end of the year on the European Tour, as well as a full schedule on the PGA Tour because of his world ranking. Matteo Manassero, he had a quiet year last year, but I think he won so many tournaments as a youngster. He still is a youngster, but maybe that 1 year of sort of quiet golf, he might come back this year and surprise a few people.
Yeah, I agree with that. And what's the Dane's name?
Torbjorn Olsen.
Yeah, Torbjorn Olsen. I think it's probably time for him to start moving up too. You know.
It is, yeah.
And the Muscles from Brussels. You know, he's going to be back on the European Tour full time this year. So he just bombed on the PGA Tour. I don't know what it was, but maybe he can get back. He's a really good golfer. I was surprised he just went south and on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, and that happens sometimes, doesn't it? I mean, you look at David Lynn. David Lynn was playing very well. He was in the PGA Championship when he came second, I think. And then he made that commitment to go over to America, and it just didn't work out for him. And there are a number of players that it just doesn't work for whatever reason.
I think Dubuisson is going to play a strong PGA schedule this year too.
Yeah. Well, I think he sort of, I don't know, he had a good year, didn't he? But he didn't win a tournament. So you would say that, yes, well, he had a great year in terms of he was up there contending, had a great Ryder Cup. He didn't win, so maybe this year he has to get that win more consistently.
How old is Dubuisson?
24, I think.
24, yeah. He was 23 last year, so he should be 24 this year.
So he's a youngster too, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an old youngster, though. I look at him as an old youngster. He seems to have a pretty good head on his shoulders. He's not real friendly, but he's a darn good golfer.
Yeah.
He's a Frenchman. He's a Frenchman. They are not warm and fuzzy.
Well, that's the other guy. That's the other guy. That's the other guy that I'm looking for to do a little better this year is Alexander Levy out of France. He should make some noise on the European Tour this year.
Great.
What about Peter Uihlein? He had a very disappointing year last year, really.
Well, he was battling some injuries, and I don't remember what they were, but I know he was having some physical problems. And as long as he has physical problems, he's going to struggle. You know, no matter where he plays.
Yeah.
Or who is?
All the Tiger Woods, you know.
So, I mean, 2015 is going to be undoubtedly a great year. We've got potential for the most incredible season, really. If Tiger can come back to near his best, if Rory can play well, if Phil can play well, if Stenson, Scott, Keimer, Spieth, Reed, Fowler, you've got such a mix of players from all over the world at the peak of their powers. You've got history on the line with Rory and Phil. On the LPGA, you've got Coe, you've got Park, you've got Paula Creamer. She will have a good year as well. And you've got so many players on the LPGA. Stacey Lewis, Pettersson. The list is really endless, actually. And
I'm anxious to see how some of the young ladies that we've interviewed on the Friday Foursome did. Kendall Dye and those coming up. I'd like to see them maybe make some noise.
Yeah, I think last year really was all about the star players on the LPGA. Maybe this year, to start with, you might have some of the youngsters come up. But I think we've got the perfect storm for major venues. We haven't even talked about Whistling Straits, just because the first three are so massive. You know, you could get to Whistling Straits, and then you could have the perfect season with Rory winning the Masters, Phil winning the US Open, Tiger winning the Open, and then all three of them head-to-head in the last event.
Well, I'd like to throw Henrik Stenson in that mix too, because Stenson needs a major. He was playing really well at the end of the year, and it would be nice to see him contend in a major again. He did well at Valhalla last year, but he just, you know, he kind of faded on Sunday.
Well, there's also Lee Westwood. I know I've banged that drum for many years.
That drum's broke, man.
I've got a new one.
He needs to get in the fight for drum corps with Colin Montgomery, you know, because both of them are great European Tour players that just couldn't win a major. You know.
You know, I think that St. Andrews Tea Time should start awarding a weekly Sunday Slump Award. We should pick the Sunday Slump winner.
Winner?
Slump, S-L-U-M-P,
You
from the
talking
previous
about
week.
Oh.
The person who falls apart on Sunday, man or woman. I will design the award.
Are you trying to say that Lee Westwood would win it on more occasions than one?
He does have a lot of runner
I'm saying that there
appearances.
are other besides Lee Westwood. He could be our first awardee. There are some women who go into a Sunday slump also.
Well, I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I think.
Okay, I'll design the award.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, who has more second place finishes in the U.S. Open, Phil or Lee?
Oh, Phil.
Jack Nicklaus.
He's got 6.
Phil's got more second place finishes in the U.S. Open than any player ever. So,
Wow.
God.
which wouldn't you like to finish second in the major 6 times?
I would take that paycheck any day of the week. But, you know, for Phil, he wants to win it, you know.
It's back to the money again.
Show me the money. I've heard that quite a bit this week. Show me the money.
I had to learn that from somewhere.
So, the next edition of St. Andrews Golf Magazine for February is out on January the 30th. We've got the Ernie Els interview in that edition, as well as a travel guide featuring New Zealand, Dubai, Florida, hopefully South Carolina, Elizabeth.
Yep. Coming.
We've got quite a few places, so it'd be interesting for you to look out your window and see this horrible weather in St. Andrews and read about a sunny place.
I thought South Carolina was closed.
South Carolina is never closed. Don't start that. We don't close. Y'all, we do not close.
I went to South Carolina one time and it was closed.
So yeah, it should be another great edition for you all to read, and yeah, we're moving on towards the season here in St. Andrews in the next couple of months. The golf courses are the old course is being manicured to death for some reason. It's greener than Augusta out there.
Yes,
yeah, but look how green Augusta will be by April.
Yeah, but do you know what they do to those poor azalea bushes? They put them inside little tents to keep them from blooming, climate-controlled tents, so that those things are forced to bloom at a particular point in time.
Absolutely.
And don't leave it up to Mother Nature.
And last year we had snow in Georgia within a week or two of the Masters, and I made a joke to somebody. I said, there's more money in Augusta and that mess will get cleaned up before the Masters starts.
That's right. And those little tents around all those azalea bushes had their little heaters and their little air conditioners going. Those poor babies are undercover until the Masters open.
Until opening day.
Yes.
Well, we can't wait for the Masters. We can't wait to open here.
The Masters is every week. Ricky Potts asks our guest on Friday Foursome a lightning round of 10 questions, and the one every week that he asks is, "What is your favorite major tournament?" And probably 95% of the people say the Masters is their favorite golf tournament of the year, favorite major tournament of the year.
Yeah.
Once in a while, you catch somebody that likes the U.S. Open or the British Open, or excuse me, the Open Championship. Nobody ever says the PGA. It's always the Masters.
I particularly like the South African Open, Liz.
Show me the money, man.
Do it.
When you get a $5.7 million purse, let me know.
Well, it's been another fantastic conversation to start another new series of Tuesday Tea Time, and hopefully you'll all be able to join us again, same time, same place next week, Tuesday, for Tuesday Tea Time. But from myself, Les, John, and Elizabeth, that's good night.
Enjoyed it, man.
Good night.